What is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, it is that time of the month again where we rank the legends over here on the global side of the game of One Piece Treasure Cruise. Now, if you guys are new to my tier lists, I do want to let you guys know that this is my personal opinion from playing the game for 4 years now over on global, as well as playing the game on Japan. But in today's video, we are just looking at the legends on global as we sort of meet the merge, or the timeline merge. That's when we will start obviously doing the Japan content, but for now we're just going to keep it global as I still am a global main. So big shout out to OPTC tier list maker, as well as the database for all the images provided. If you guys do want to make your own tier list, as always, link will be in the description for both the database and the tier list. Make sure to check them out. Database is absolutely amazing for team building, as well as if you want to make your own tier list, make sure to link it in the comment section below, and please let me know what your thoughts and opinions are in the comment section below as well. And there is no such thing as a wrong opinion. This is all opinion based, and I would love to hear what you guys have to say. While you're down there, don't forget to smash that like button if you're new to the channel. Hit that big red subscribe button as well. But what is the criteria? What do I look for when I am ranking these legends? So this is the criteria you do see on screen right now. The big thing for me is usability. How useful is that particular unit? Now, when it comes to units in OPTC, not one legend can clear everything. Now, I will talk about who I think the best legend in the game is, but that doesn't mean that that legend is the be-all or end-all. So, depending on the content, depending on what's happening in the game, is dependent on these particular things. So, usability is the big one, and that's broken down into 4 particular things. So, power, color, class, and special. So the power of the unit, how much damage they can output, their stats, all that sort of stuff. Their color. The color is very, very important to me, mainly because obviously, like with the criteria of the colors, some colors have a little bit more support than others, where other colors have a little bit less support. The class, obviously having a better class captain ability, or being a rainbow captain, as well as buffing a better class like Free Spirit Cerebral Powerhouse compared to something like, say for example, fighters, strikers, or even shooters. That is going to be a big aspect as well. And finally, the special. What does their special do? How useful is their special? Does it give utility? Does it give damage output? What does that special actually do? But like I said, I do want to reiterate that this is my personal opinion, so don't hold it against me if you have a disagreement. But please let me know in the comment section below, like I said. Now, if you guys have stuck around, if you guys are someone that has seen one of my tier lists before, you guys will notice there is a little bit of a difference. Now, I have changed up the categories here. I have put a God tier. God tier just refers to the fact that this character is just phenomenal. They have a great captain. They have a great special. You can use them in very many different ways. You can even slot them onto a team that they're not actually boosted, and they just work wonders. The next is S tier captains, so some of the best captains in the game that aren't particularly the best subs, and they sort of don't fall into that God tier category. S tier sub means that they might have a good captain ability, but nowadays they are just really used as subs, as there are just better units that can sort of do what their captain does, but just better. A tier captain is a little bit lower than the S tier sub, but doesn't stereotypically mean that that character is actually worse. So it has a good quality captain ability, but their special might be a little bit lacking nowadays, and that's why they don't make it into S tier captain or even S tier sub. But if you are using that character, you're stereotypically using them as a captain. A tier sub means they have a pretty solid special. You are using them in many different situations. I have added another section called Content Requires. Now, this particular category refers to characters that are very niche. Well, not even very niche, that sort of satisfy that requirement, or sort of have a special that has sort of been outdated, and there are sort of like rare recruit characters and stuff that can, or free-to-play characters even, that can actually do it better. We have the PvP category, as always. These characters are just really, really good in Pirate Rumble. We have the support, which you can basically just look at just maxing their support out and calling it a day. And then finally, I have a new category called If You Like the Style. So there are a lot of different playstyles when it comes to OPTC. Like there is the Stally playstyle, a lot of healing, tanking damage, then outputting damage. There is the speed farming stuff, so a lot of damage, high risk, high reward. And then you just have like security, where you have like not the fastest teams, but can get a lot of stuff done. So I'm gonna sort of slap the characters that it's kind of like an up to you kind of category. So let's start it off. So the first character we're going to be looking at is Legend Lucy. Now, Legend Lucy came out a little while ago. He is an attack booster, so 3 very, very good colors. I'm just going to stick him in. Content Requires is basically going to have most of these characters here, as it's kind of like if it works in the content, it's going to work in the content. I'd probably put him as like maybe an A tier sub, But because he has a 6+ variant, I'm just going to put him in the content requires at the moment. Mainly because you're only ever using this particular version of Sabo, or of Lucy, if you don't want the free spirit or the quick variation of that Sabo. I do think that one is a little bit better, but we'll talk about it when we get here. Judge. Judge is an A tier sub for me. I prefer this Judge to 6+ Judge. 7 turns of bind, an orb boost, a very, very good unit. V2 Dofi. V2 Dofi I'm going to put in if you like this style. So the whole concept of V2 Dofi, it's all about his special ability. He's a driven captain, and he's just been outdone. Like, I wouldn't even put him in A tier captain for driven nowadays, just because there's so many other better options. You can definitely use him as a captain, but I would only use him if you like the style of the overkill damage. That's sort of the big thing when it comes to him. Ace and Luffy and Ace. Luffy and Ace is a bit of a weird one. Bit of a hard spot to actually put them. I guess we'll have to put them in content requires, as they are an orb booster, but there's just other rare recruits that just do what they do better. They do give matching orbs, so I guess it's kind of okay, but we're going to slap them in content requires for now. Honestly, I feel like I should have like another tier here that's like, just kind of like outdated. I think I might actually do that. Let's add a tier list below, and let's go outdated. Outdated. Or like, actually we'll put in like needs a 6+, and they can just like be the head of that. Needs a 6+. Definitely needs a 6+, I think. What color can we make this? Let's make it orange. Let's make it that orange, whatever. Alright, on to V2 Shanks now. V2 Shanks is probably an A tier sub for me. He's a color-based attack booster, 2.25 as well as a very good chain buff. So, very, very good unit still. He's a Shanks character, so you know how I feel about my boy Shanks. What if we just do that? Yeah, cool. You guys know how I feel about my boy Shanks, so, that is going to be the best spot for him. Sorry, with this new tier, I just want to make sure everything looks hunky-dory. Beautiful. Okay. Moving on to a Akainu now. Akainu, he's probably an A tier sub. I guess he's only like a 2.25 times orb boost, but he does rotate block orbs as well, which can be pretty handy. The downside is he rotates them randomly into like dex. Sorry, what's it called? Int and strength. I guess if the content requires, you could definitely be using Akainu, but I couldn't tell you the last time I used V2 Akainu. He's a fighter shooter, which isn't exactly the greatest classes either. V2 ErKa, however, is an A tier sub for me. He basically does the same thing that Akainu does, but he actually does an attack buff, which for me is just infinitely better. He's the Psy color, for which I think is the best color in the game. And you can put him under some captains to where you can make those orbs beneficial, where Akainu doesn't really have that luxury. V1 Tankman, I guess you could, like, argue, like, if you like the style. He's all about eating the meat orbs, so, like, I guess if you like that style, then go for gold. Mr. Tessero, definitely an A tier sub for me. Tessero gives 2 matching orbs for the top and the bottom, and he gives a 3.25 chain lock. He has a very, very good support. You could easily just argue that he goes in the support category. I use him quite a lot. Quick is pretty good. Driven is very, very good now. He works great as a sub for Versa, Ace and Akainu. V1 Katakuri, if you like the style of the delay mechanic, definitely have a look at using this particular character. Kung Fu Luffy's pretty good. He's honestly, like, he's an A tier sub for most Dex teams. But because he's a Luffy and there's a lot of other really good Luffys, I just basically use him as a support when I don't already have a Luffy on that particular team. What? Bid and Marco. If you like the style of just switching and getting guaranteed meat orbs, this is a character for you. 4.25 times attack boost to Psy and Int, which is good. They're both very good colors, but like they're just kind of outdated. Honestly, they need a 6+. They actually need a 6+. Pretty badly, actually. Shiki, honestly, like Shiki needs a 6+. It's so damn, like, it's not even funny. Brook. If you like Brook's playstyle of the whole death mechanic, then Brook's the character for you, like I said. The whole concept is he has that revive. You can pair him up with like Kaido, and you can get around like normal attacks only and all that sort of jazz. Zephyr's pretty dookie. He needs a 6+ super badly. Carrot. Carrot's definitely an A tier captain. When Carrot gets her 6+, like she has on Japan, she'll make her way into S tier sub for sure. But for now, she's an A tier captain. She can just bypass those defensive effects like barriers and like damage reduction and threshold and stuff like that. So she's a really, really good speed captain. You can hybrid her up very, very nicely. And that's sort of what this A tier captain is going to be. It's going to be like a lot of hybrid options. V2 Katakuri, if you like the concept of just like taking damage and then dealing damage, go for V2 Katakuri. He's going to be the guy for you. Bardo Cavendish, definitely an A tier sub. Honestly, you can make an argument nowadays, honestly, and I kind of want to put them there as an S tier sub. They have one of the best switch abilities in the game still. With the release of the Fire Tank Pirates, which is one of the characters we're going to be talking about, as well as 6+ Cracker And I think that's actually it for this month. I'm pretty sure that's it for this month. But they are an amazing sub. They're a 2.25 times attack boost. Their switchability is really good. Driven's kind of made their little bit of their resurgence. And because Driven is just sort of so prominent at the moment, I think I might put them in S tier sub. Jack. So Jack, I'm going to put him in content requires, mainly because he's an XP captain. And you're really only using him if the content requires. Now, Super Tight, what's his name? Dex Sabo. I'm going to put Dex Sabo with 6+. Needs 6+. He's a really good sub, though. I really like using this Dex Sabo as a sub. I'm actually probably going to put him there. Just because he already has a 6+ on Japan. And he's got a very good ore boost for fighters, free spirits, and shooters. Shooters got a resurgence as well. When he gets his 6+, though, he's going to be a lot better. Like, a lot better. But for now, he's a good chain locker. He's got a very, very good sailor ability. I actually use him quite a bit. Jumanji. Jumanji, I kind of want to put them in S tier sub because they can sort of do something that like not a lot of other characters can do with their switch ability. They give that chain multiplier buff, which is great. They remove special bond on themselves completely, which is actually very underrated. I've definitely underrated that. As well as making T&D orbs matching, giving a T&D orbs to themselves. They're a very good sub. Powerhouse is very, very good as well. Luffy is another S tier sub. Honestly, I kind of want to put them in God tier. Like they're still so good, but they've definitely been outdated. They've got a great special. They got a pretty good switch ability, and they can cover a lot of classes. So S tier sub's definitely a good spot for them. On to Big Mom now. I'm gonna move Big Mom into A tier sub. She's got a very annoying captain ability, so I definitely don't want to put her in A tier captain. But her special in Kazuna is really, really good. The downside is it's really only good for Kazuna. Sabo Koala, free spirits and cerebrals being two of the best classes in the game. Very good switch ability, very good special. 2.25 times attack to those two. Onto Neko and Inu now. I'm going to sort of put them in the content requires tier. Actually, I'm going to put Big Mom in content requires too, mainly because she's like really only good for Kazuna. Neko Inu are quite good. Now, they give that carryover effect of a 2.25 color affinity and attack boost and stuff like that. They're pretty good, but like there's just other options. They're really good for Dofi too, actually, because their switch ability can remove paralysis. They're not sort of a priority. I wouldn't sort of prioritize to level them up, but like if you are looking to do something like Dofi 2 or some of that content, definitely level them up. VV Rebecca. V1 VV Rebecca is an S tier sub. S tier sub for sure. Still one of the best subs in the game, and with the new release of the chain multiplier attack down limit that's just come out on Japan, these characters just got even better. 2.5 times switch ability, like rotating orbs, giving healing, completely removing damage reduction, defense up, and giving color affinity. They just do so much. Shira Sherry, V1 Shira Sherry, very, very good sub. Giving rainbow orbs. I'm pretty sure they do through block orbs as well. Their switch ability can remove a bunch of defects like slot binds, special binds, stuff like that. Sign in are very, very good, and they give a lot of healing. So it's kind of more like a content requires thing, but the fact that you can remove like 10 turns of any debuff, like that's very, very useful. I would definitely level these guys up. They're one of the first units I actually leveled up on Japan. Moving on to Stampede Luffy. He's an A tier captain, mainly just because he removes paralysis and despair by 10 turns. Any captain that has utility, you know me, is always probably going to find their way into at least A tier captain. But again, you're not really using him more than once. Mr. Kaido. Kind of want to put Kaido in God tier. Like when Kaido works, like I'm using like the new content that just came out on Japan, like you can just Kaido it. So like I kind of want to put him in God tier. He's very, very good, but like you don't need to level this guy up. So, for that reason, I'm going to put him in content required. Because, like, you're really only ever using this guy to sort of speed farm content and whatnot. Other than that, like, he's really good for, like, treasure map, and then you can, like, sort of just brain dead move it. But, at the same time, like, when he works, like, he's definitely an S tier captain. You're never using this guy as a sub, though. That's kind of why I don't want to put him in God tier. Kaido's very, very hard to place. Like, very, very hard to place. Worst case scenario, he's an A tier captain. I think we'll just put him in A tier captain. Because when he works, but like, I just don't really like using Kaido, to be honest. So we'll put him in A tier captain for now. Mr. Halloween Ace, special bind, as well as special seal removal. His special really isn't that great. And I mainly always use him as a support, to be honest. With the release of Verse Ace as well, getting around the special bind, special rewind, and then Shank's crew being a thing, I very rarely use Halloween Ace. I'm always using Halloween Ace as a support, so I think it's about time that we move him down. In terms of his captain ability, he's definitely an A tier captain. Like, he's definitely a usable captain. But, like, shooters and fighters aren't that very good classes. You can definitely hybrid him up. You can definitely put him in A-tier captain, but for me, I'm going to put him in support. Now, if you've jumped to the end of the video and you didn't see this part, suck a dick. Komarasaki. Komarasaki is an A-tier captain. She has damage reduction. She's got healing. The downside is she doesn't have a HP buff, but she has a very, very, very good special. Very good special. Chopper. Obviously, when the content requires Chopper to be a captain, you want to dupe those cotton candy drops. But his special's so freaking good. 5 turns of basically every utility removal is so damn useful. And for that reason, Chopper has to find his way into S-tier sub. As a captain, when the content requires. His limit break is really good. You could probably argue he's an A-tier captain. 4 times rainbow captain, I'm pretty sure. So he's pretty good. Luffy and Zoro. I love this unit. I think they're amazing for stuff like forests and long content. Great switchability, great special. Free spirits and slashes are all both very, very good classes. The big downside to them is it's a Luffy and a Zoro unit. But in saying that, you do have a lot of very good supports for them as well. Sobermask, the unit that came out alongside them, is another S-tier sub. The double special that Sobermask can do, giving that 2.5 times attack rainbow, as well as a full border orbs through block orbs, is just unparalleled. Plus, you can use it on multi-stage, so very, very good. You could argue he's probably god tier because he has quite a good captain as well. But he's just been out for a little while now. He's very squishy as well, so like if he gets hit pretty hard. And most of the time you're using him as a sub. That jump mechanic's great, but like it's very impractical that you're using it all the time. Nami and Robin, A-tier sub, yeah, I guess, but you're mainly using these guys for their paralysis removal. They've got a very good orb boost though, like 2.5 to 2 colors. Mainly to the int color, not really to the dex color. Why won't you go to the front? Like, what are you doing? You stupid unit. Thank you. Nami and Robin, you're basically using them for that 10 turns of paralysis, but you could definitely use them for their orb boost as well. I use them in Kazuna a lot, so I guess like that's pretty good. Pudding. Now, Pudding is amazing. She can do something like no one else does, and arguably she is an S-tier sub. But you really only use Pudding when the content requires you to use Pudding. She's not a go-to on the team. There is a lot of content that she works on, and she can do something that not a lot of characters can do, but I feel like you don't really need to level her up until the content tells you to. But for that, like, in saying that too, she's got a really low cooldown. She gives special reverse. She gives, cooldown, so she gets around special reverse. So, I guess she's an S-tier sub. Mr. Arlong Crew is... Arlong Crew's sort of in the same boat, right? He does the special, like, rewind thing. 2 turns, which is great. As well as possibly being a 2.5 times attack boost, but you kind of really only use Arlong Crew when the content requires you. You don't really go to him for his attack boost. You're really only using him for his special cooldown. Mr. Shank's Crew, the first god tier character. I don't even care. You can easily use this guy as a hybrid S tier captain. You can easily go use this guy as a sub. Honestly, he's an S tier sub, but like overall, like the fact that he's got that special bind removal, 4.5 times rainbow captain, and a very, very good special and a very good switch ability. You hybrid this guy up with something like Roger, you hybrid this guy up with something like Odin. He works absolute wonders. As a sub, he's amazing. As a captain, he's amazing. You can clear a lot of content with Shank's Crew, and for that reason, he is going in god tier. No question about it. Mihawk Perona. Mihawk Perona are pretty good. Pretty good, but like, their special is very content reliant. So when it works because you get that guaranteed conditional boost. They have a pretty good switch ability as well. But I'm only ever using Mihawk Perona when the content requires me to. Mainly because you have to be mindful of full immunity and when there is not 2 or more. Like, what's it called? But in saying that, like when they work, they definitely work. So have a think about leveling them up. But this sort of A tier sub sort of category is really like if you feel like it sort of thing. And then like kind of just falls underneath content requires. I do think that Mihawk Perona is better than this, like these characters here. So we can definitely put them into that category. V3 Rayleigh, definitely in the content requires section. Yeah, there's not really much to say about V3 Rayleigh. The downside to him is he's like, when you use his special, you can't use anyone else's specials, which is just kind of dookie. V3 Kuzan's got a very, very good special. Not exactly the most, like, usable captain ability, but with that new debuff I mentioned on Japan, the chain multiplier growth, like, he will get better, but very, very good special. Color affinity and an orb boost, so definitely where he needs to be. Mr. Snakeman. Mr. Snakeman is a god tier character. He does everything. He's got a great super type. He's got a great captain ability. He's got a great special. I don't need to say anything else about this Snakeman. He's a god tier character. Super type Sabo. Super type Sabo I'm going to put in A tier sub. I'm growing. Super Type Sabo is growing on me. I was never a fan of Super Type Sabo, but I'm starting to like Super Type Sabo. Like, I'm really starting to like Super Type Sabo. So, for that reason, A-tier sub. Super Type Katakuri is an interesting one. Honestly, Super Type Katakuri, if you like the playstyle, like, level him up. But, like, I never use this character, man. Like, I'm very, very, very rarely using this character. Thing is, though, he's a 5x captain to int. You do have to be at low HP. He does have damage reduction. He does have that conditional boost as well, which only he can do. So, for that reason, A-tier captain. Blackbeard. Blackbeard's definitely going in if you like the style. Nothing against Blackbeard. He's very, very strong, but you have to take damage consistently to then, like, get that 4x attack and that 4x orb boost. And it's only on him. So, like, he's good, but, like, if you comparing him to Katakuri, like, as he's got a good captain, but, like, you have to like his playstyle to actually want to use this unit. So, unfortunately for that Blackbeard, I'm just going to have to put him in there if you like the style, because it is what it is. Kid. Kid is an A-tier captain. He's still one of the best X captains in the game. He's an attack booster to the class, and now missing a lot of that, so definitely an A-tier captain. Mr. Basil Hawkins. If you like the style of Hawkins, go for gold. But he's very similar to Katakuri. He's just better, I guess. He is Rainbow Captain, which is nice, but he's got such a low multiplier, and he does have a very unique mechanic. So if you like the style, then, like, go for it, I guess. Yeah, go for it, but it is what it is. Moving on to Mr. Wano Law. I kind of want to put Wano Law in God tier captain, like God tier. He is mainly used as a sub, but I do think that people forget about his captain ability. Like, he is still a really, really good unit. Like, I think he's a slasher booster. A fighter, free spirit, and striker booster, I'm pretty sure. So he can still do some really, really wild things as long as you're at max HP. Most of the time you're using this guy as a sub. Like, most of the time you're using him as a sub. But otherwise, yeah, he's kind of just, it is what it is. V3 ErKa. Now, V3 ErKa's got a really good captain ability. His special's actually quite good. But I just don't think that he deserves to be, like... You know what? I kind of want to put Kaido in S-tier captain. Because, like, you only ever use Kaido as a captain. I'm going to do that. Because you only ever use Kaido as a captain, I'm going to put him in S-tier captain. All these other ones, these, like, A-tier captains, you could easily use them as subs. But, yeah. Alright, so, talking about ErKa, he's got a greater captain ability for strength, dex, and quick. He's got a very, very good special, too, though. So, like, very, very good special. Downside is it's just, like, an attack boost. And then, sort of, like, you need to have the defense down immunity not there. A-tier captain. Definitely A-tier captain. Smoker. Smoker. If the content requires you to use Smoker, you will use Smoker. He has quite a good special, though, for quick. But, like, there's just other characters that sort of just do it better. Honestly, in my opinion, like, he needs a 6+. Like, he needs a 6+ badly. And it's, like, that's alarming, because, like, he's actually, like... Yeah, it's just... It is what it is when it comes to Smoker. Sugar. Sugar can go into the S-tier captain. Sugar can still work really, really well. When the content requires it, she's definitely in that, like, fits that bill, but her super typing, obviously being a captain, giving that 2.25 orbs, as long as you have toy bears, which her special gives you, is awesome. Like, it's really, really good. She can do a lot of things, and the bear mechanic is actually a lot of fun. Super type Boa, another S-tier captain. She's got one of the best super typings in the game, but you're never really using her as a sub. Like, it's just as simple as that. Her special doesn't really warrant being used as a sub. You definitely can do it, but it's just not one of those things that you're, like, looking for. If you're using Boa, you're using her as a captain. It's as simple as that. Like, simple as that. Odin. Odin can be an S-tier captain. And I do think Odin is better than a lot of characters in the S-tier sub. Like, he's definitely better than a lot of these characters in S-tier subs. Most of the time, you are using him as a sub for Roger. But if you are missing Roger, you can easily use him as an S-tier captain. And for that, I kind of want to put Lore up here as well. I'm going to put Lore in S-tier captain. Because, like, it's the same argument, right? It's definitely the same argument. Definitely the same argument. The problem with Lore is you just have to be at max HP. But talking about Odin. I keep changing my mind through this tier list. First time I'm using this new system, so I apologize that it's a little bit scuffed. Odin's got a rainbow captain ability. Obviously, his special is based around slashes and free spirits. But the Wano Orb mechanic, you just can't deny how good that actually is. So for that reason, I think he's pretty warrant to being in S tier captain. Mr. Roger. Roger's god tier. Let's be real, like, if you're using Roger, like, you're pretty much always using him as a captain. But you could easily use him as a sub, like, or as a hybrid option. Like, he's just that freaking good. Like, you get the most value out of Roger as a captain, and I don't really see why you'd, like, whatever team you're using, like, you just use Roger as the captain. Simple as that. But he has an amazing special. He has one of the best specials in the game, to be honest. 3 times attack, you just can't scoff at it. So, he's god tier. He's just better than all of these other S tier captains, though. That's the thing. Halloween Mihawk. Halloween Mihawk is... Oh, man, I kind of want to put him up here, but, like... I feel like he's an A tier captain. He gets around paralysis, which is great. He has a very good special. But he is a Mihawk character. But, most of the time, you're hybriding this guy up. And the reason I want to put him there is because I really want to put Law in S tier captain. I'm a big fan of Law. When Law works, like for Garbs challenges and stuff like that, like he's your go-to in captain. He has that clock buff as well, so you're always guaranteed to get the 2 turns of his special. And he removes Despair, which is a lot more prevalent than Paralysis in my opinion. Like 10 turns of Despair. So for that reason, I'm going to put him in S tier captain. Talking about Shanks now though. Halloween Shanks will probably put as an A tier sub. He's very similar to Super Type Sabo. Cerebrals and Slashes, though, is his color affinity boost, which I think is better than just straight strength. And he gives a chain buff if you do have the 4 int units. He does have a very good super typing as well, but like most of the time you are using him as a sub, so unfortunately it is what it is. Luffy Sanji. Luffy Sanji is a god tier unit. Most people might disagree with that because he is quite boring. But as a sub, as his switch ability, as an attack boot, like they do so much. They have the overheal mechanic as well. I do understand that you have to like their style to be able to do it, but you can easily use this guy on many different teams. You can use him as hybrid options. Very, very, very good unit. Very, very good unit. Germa. Germa, I kind of want to put in S tier sub because they have the switch, the captain swap. Once they get their 6+, we'll talk about that a little bit more, but they're a very good ore booster to Sai, which is very, very strong. And they are kind of like the cheat code for Enel. So S tier sub, you can get around certain mechanics with them as well. And they have quite a good super typing as well, which then puts them as captain. Worst case scenario, I'd probably put them as an A tier captain. So, look, it is what it is. Onto the Sweet Generals now. The Sweet Generals, mainly used as a sub on strength teams. They do a lot. They're an attack booster. They're a chain booster. They're a color affinity booster. But, like, most of the time you want to do that with, like, the utility and stuff anyway. So, for that reason, they can go into A tier sub. Kaido. Mr. Kaido is an S tier captain. When Kaido works, he's very, very good. He's got a great versatility, but normal attack only sort of cuck this guy. He's just sort of a better version of this without sort of the brain dead sort of aspect. So, look, it is what it is. But when I'm talking about Big Mom, I think Big Mom's better. I just think she's better in all regards. Mainly because she boosts Sai as well, where Kaido boosts Dex. I use Big Mom quite a bit as a sub on JP, where I just never use Kaido. Like, it is what it is. V2 Vivi Rebecca. I feel like they're probably an A tier captain. They've got quite a good special ability for Cerebrals and Strikers. And, like, you could argue that they're up here in S tier captain, to be honest. But, I don't know. I don't feel like that I use them that often as a captain for Cerebral teams. And once Law and stuff come out, like, they just get indirectly replaced. I guess they are probably the best Cerebral captain in the game. And Cerebral is very, very strong. So, they're more Luffy Sanji. Sanji Pudding. It's an interesting one. I'll have to have a bit of a think about that. But V2 Shira Sherry is definitely an S tier sub in my opinion. Very, very strong unit. Like a very, very strong unit. Way better than their V1 counterpart. Getting around like all paralysis, which is just redonkulous. And their switchability given the overheal mechanic just makes them incredible. I don't know if I want to keep them in S tier sub, but we'll leave them there for now. Sanji Pudding. Sanji Pudding, honestly, for me, like, they have one of the best switch abilities in the game. Their special's amazing, and they're always going to see, like, very good play for the Cerebral team. I kind of like using Vivi Rebecca more as a captain, to be honest, for Cerebrals. But I can't deny what the Sanji Pudding can actually do as captain. They give themselves a matching orb through block. So, like, I feel like these guys are probably on par with each other. And you can just easily hybrid them up together. So, I don't know. We'll kind of put him in both an S tier captain for now. Zoro. Zoro is definitely an A tier captain. Getting around the special buy mechanic. Downside is he's basically like just Dex orientated. Very similar to Kid, unfortunately, but I do think that he is better than Kid. But the hybrid capabilities that you can actually do for that, you know what? No, I'm going to do that because I do think that that's probably more arguable. Where I can probably see Zoro being an S tier captain. Yeah. Just because he's better than Kid as a Dex captain, it's just as simple as that. And that's basically the bottom line. Kaido. Kaido, I guess, we'll put in A tier captain. Mainly because he has the auto trigger of the special. And when it works, it does work very, very nicely. He was really, really good to get around the Kazuna clash recently that like stopped rotating orbs. So you do have that aspect about it. Enel. Enel, honestly, is maybe an A tier sub at best for like color affinity on Sai. But other than that, he's a bind and paralysis removal, which is just a combo you never see. Obviously, he's a Pirate Rumble legend, so for that reason, we're going to put him in PvP, because that's literally where I use Enel the most. Like, you're just leveling this guy up for PvP, if that's what you're doing. Same with V1 Whitebeard 6+. He's very, very good in Rumble. He's not really used that much anymore, but on Japan, but like in the strength team, he definitely finds a spot. Boa, you're only ever using this Boa for support, but very, very rarely you're ever going to use that Boa anyway. This Sabo got a 6+, but like still, like, just no, he's the first character that I'm probably just going to delete. The Usopp, if you like the style of Usopp, he has the guaranteed delay, so I guess it's okay. This Luffy has a very, very good support. V1 Rayleigh 6+ is definitely an S tier sub. I use this Rayleigh so much. He's got such a great support. He's got such a great sailor ability, and he's got such a great special. You know what? I'm going to change this to Dookie, to be honest. Because, like, let's be real. Lucci, we're going to put him in Dookie. He sucks. Shanks has a fairly decent support, so I guess you could level that up. Kuzan's very good in Rumble. So is Ace. Sengoku has a great support as well. We've got Hody, which has a very good support for powerhouse units. V1 Mihawk, if you like his style of that damage, I guess you can use him. This Zoro has a great support for Mihawk characters. This Law has an amazing support for Corazon. Croc is absolute dookie. Bardo has an amazing support, so I guess we could definitely slap him here. 3 turns of paralysis on Robin is definitely nothing to scoff at. This Law gives cooldowns as well, but he's definitely not as good as this Law when it comes to his support. Borsalino, amazing in Rumble. Buggy, when the content requires you to use Buggy for duping drops, you are going to be using Buggy. He got a huge buff because of the content on like Japan, which is now on global for the manual farming. Jinbei can go into A tier sub. He completely removes special rewind on himself, and he removes defense up and damage reduction. So pretty good. 5 turns of those, as well as giving some matching ups to fighters. He just kind of like, honestly, he's kind of like when the content requires you to do so, because like there's just better options, but the whole getting around special reverse is quite nice. This Judge, honestly, like if the content requires you to use the Judge, then go for it. But like other than that, like he's really not that good. Magellan, very similar. If you like Magellan's playstyle of the poison mechanic, then go for it. But as a captain and stuff, he's kind of dookie. Moving on to Corazon, another S tier sub. And now we've kind of run out of room when it comes to the S tier subs. I am probably just going to have to go like this, I think. Yeah, I'm going to have to do something like that, unfortunately. But look, it is what it is. So with Corazon, Corazon's actually one of my picks for Limit Break expansion. He's incredible, honestly. Like 3 turns for pretty much every debuff removal, a lot of healing, has a very, very good support. And the fact that you can actually use this particular law as a support for a 1.75 times, what's it called, a 1.75 orb boost on Corazon makes him very, very good. Enel nowadays, you could probably use Enel in PvP, but he's actually just pretty dookie. This Sanji has quite a good support. So does Frankie, but Frankie like is quite good in PvP as well. Cavendish has good support. Dogstorm's amazing in PvP. The Neko is good for support. So is this Lucci. This Lucci has a really, really good support. Moving on to V1 Snake Man. Now, V1 Snake Man, honestly, like, he does so much. I want to put him in A tier captain. He's kind of outdated a little bit, but, like, he's still really, really nice. Like, a really, really good unit. Rainbow captain. The Boa is a good color affinity booster for free spirits, but other than that, she doesn't see too much play. But she's very similar to, I guess, like, Halloween Shanks, except for the whole 3 turns thing, where, like, Super Type Saba can at least give you the carryover. Boa, not Boa. Dofi, definitely PvP. Pretty good unit for PvP. Amazing unit for PvP, I should say. Big Mom, I guess when the content requires you to use Big Mom, she's good. But she's like, honestly, she's pretty dookie. Like, you're never using this unit as a sub. You're never really using her as a captain either. So, like, I guess we're just going to put her into dookie spot as of here. This Isu's pretty good in PvP. Great special. Akainu's got a great support, so we can definitely slide him over here. Nami, when the content requires, Nami, you definitely can use her, mainly because she's got such good support options. But other than that, you're not really ever using her. Same with Shirahoshi, 6+ Shirahoshi, definitely when the content requires. Bullet. Bullet's, I'm going to put Bullet in S tier captain, purely because you're only ever using Bullet as a captain. And I do think he's a lot better than the A tier captains, so it's as simple as that. Rainbow, all the time, 3 very good colors that he boosts, and he gives matching orbs. Very, very good unit, to be honest, very good. V1 category 6+ is pretty fun, but like, if you like that style of like delaying and then killing on the next turn, do V1 category and 6+ in, but otherwise, don't worry about it. You're never going to use the character, unless you're something like Todd or KroobyG, you're never really going to use them. 6+ Sabo is, for me, an A tier sub. He's just better than the unsuper evolved one, mainly because he becomes a free spirit unit, and he becomes a quick unit, which is just a little bit more handy. He basically does the same thing, but he gives a special cooldown as well, so he's just better. He gets a very good limit break key, actually, and like when that happens, he's definitely an A tier captain at that point. Robin is when the content requires. You're really only using this Robin if you need that damage nullification. Otherwise, like, you don't really need it too much. Same with Marco. You're only doing it if you need that heal. If you need that heal, it's great. But if you don't need the heal, you're pretty much never going to use the Marco anyway. So, again, it is what it is. Deadbeard. Deadbeard's got a pretty good special ability, and he's got a pretty good captain ability, but, like, I only ever use Deadbeard as a support. I just don't think he's as viable as using something like Jumanji. Where did I even rank Jumanji? Did I rank them as A tier captain? Oh, S tier sub. Okay. Worst case scenario, like, Jumanji could probably drop into A tier captain, to be honest. I feel like, like, I use Jumanji more as a sub than I use him as a captain. And they're definitely better than all of these A tier subs. Yeah, we'll leave it like that for now. This Isu, one of these Isus is good in PvP. The other one's just dookie, so it's V1 Isu that's good in Rumble. So I think this one here is the dookie one. So I'll put him there. Garb. 6+ Garb actually is pretty good. Like, you can definitely use Garb as a captain. Mainly use him as a sub, but I do think he's, like, better than most of these A tier subs. I don't think he's as good as these S tier subs, but, you could definitely pass him as a captain. So I think we just might slide him in there. Rayleigh. Rayleigh's going to go into PvP. Like, he could pass as an A tier sub, but, like, I just think this Sabo does what he does better. Like, because there's less restrictions, to be honest. So, we'll put him in PvP because that's basically where you were using him. 6+ V2 Jinbei is absolute dookie. Capone. I'm going to put Capone into A tier captain. I do think Capone's quite good, mainly because Driven are quite good at the moment. You can easily use him as a hybrid option. He's a great sub for, like, this Katakuri as well, or you could hybrid the two of them together and run, like, an int Driven or fighter team, shooter fighter team sort of situation. Sorry, Driven shooter or Driven shooter or, like, an int based team. Or int Driven or int shooter. Friggin' hell, words are hard today. But, yeah, look, it is what it is. Blackbeard. Now, Blackbeard's really hard to build teams for, but very similar to this Carrot. Like, he's really, really good. Like, I think him and the Carrot, honestly, are on par. Besides the cooldown that Carrot can give, other than that, like, I feel like he's probably more content requires than the Carrot actually is. So we'll put him into content required. 6+ Zoro, honestly, like, didn't really get that much of a change. I wouldn't even bother, like, 6+ing Zoro, to be honest. You could definitely pass him as a captain, but I just don't think he's nearly as good as some of the other units on this list. Same with Sanji. If you guys have been on my streams or seen my videos, you guys know how I feel about 6+ Sanji. Mihawk, like, these guys might get a buff with the new mechanic that's coming out in Japan, but other than that, like, nah, like, it is what it is. Another god tier unit, we have Versakainu. Versakainu is a captain. He's probably the best driven powerhouse captain in the game. Great special, chain lock, orb boost. You guys know it. Same with Ace. In my opinion, I like Ace more than I do like Akainu. But you just can't deny what Akainu can do. Like, Akainu is really, really good. Like, really, really good. Really, really good. Magellan. Magellan, in my eyes, is probably the best quick captain in the game. Him and Kaido, you can easily interchange, depending on what the content requires. Yeah. I think they're probably on par. I think that Magellan sort of just gives a little bit more, but like also gets restricted just as much as Kaido does. But you also have the utility of Magellan as well, so like there is that. I think Magellan makes a little bit of a better sub than Kaido does. But if Kaido doesn't work as a sub or a captain, like you never really use him at all. So like there's that. V3 Blackbeard. V3 Blackbeard's hard, man. I guess we'll have to put him in when, like, content required, because there's no real reason to be using V3 Blackbeard unless you want to, like, hybrid him up with something like Versa Kainu. The reason I'm going to put him in niche and content required is because he's really, really good for the Super Boss. The Super Boss that's going to come out on the new, what's it called? The new Alliance Kazuna against the Kuja Pirates. He's really good for if they don't nerf it straight away. But look, it is what it is. Looking at Moria, though, Moria, like, honestly, S tier captain, like, really, really good with his healing capabilities. I don't think he's as good of a unit as Akainu is. Like, if you're going to be using an orb booster, you're going to be bringing Akainu just because you can get that versatility off. Where Moria has that color affinity buff, though. But he's still one of the best driven captains in the entire game. Definitely, for sure. Talking about driven... Oh, here we go. So this is the... Where is... Okay, so 6 plus Nami is over here. So we need to talk about 6 plus Nami as well. 6 plus Nami is definitely... Honestly... Oh, man, I kind of want to put her as an A tier captain. She's really, really good. Really good. She's got a great special. She's a Nami unit. She's definitely the best Nami in the game. I'll put her in A tier captain for now. She could actually rival, like, some, like, hybrid options with Magellan and Kaido. But she is a color affinity booster for quick, so like Magellan's probably a little bit better. So I guess we'll put her in A tier sub. But like she works in my opinion a little bit more than Kaido does. So like I kind of want to like I would rather put Kaido in A tier sub, but Kaido has that auto trigger, so like it's a bit tough. All right. Okay, moving on to the next two units that the two new units. So we have the Fire Tank Pirates, and the Fire Tank Pirates are incredibly good. Like they are incredibly strong. The downside is they are driven shooter boosters as their special and their captain ability, and for that reason I'm going to slide them into S tier captain. I don't think they're god tier, anything like that, nothing like the characters that you do see above them, but they are a very, very good attack booster for the Ace and Akainu team. But in saying that too, like the real big benefit to this particular character is the immune to blow away. So with the Fire Tank Pirates, they are immune to blow away as either form. And then as their dual form, they just give butt tons of damage reduction. And basically, you just don't die. But in saying that as well, like Moria can do that threshold. So I do feel like they are on par with Moria. So if you have Moria, you don't really even need to worry about the Fire Tank Pirates, because you can always just bring a friend Fire Tank Pirates, and you can make the two work very, very nicely. But other than that, there's not really much else to be said. The fact that they just are a really, really good attack boost to driven and shooters. The downside is even on Japan with this resurgence, they're still not the best classes in the game. Like, for that reason, like, I just don't think... Like, if you have a look at the top here, like, you'll notice these are all free spirit powerhouse characters, or cerebral characters. That's the big sort of tag when it comes to the top of the range units. But even though, like, you can still build really good teams with these particular characters, like, the top tier characters can sort of just do what they do that little bit better. So, unfortunately, we are going to put Fire Tank Pirates as an S tier captain. On to Cracker now. Now, honestly, I haven't even really seen what Cracker can do besides what his original form actually does. So, Cracker now does a 15% HP cut, which is very good because it means damage. So, it brings into, like, Daifuku support into play. Changes Empty Bomb, Recovery G, and Recovery Orbs into Matching Orbs. And if your captain is Fighter, Shooter, Striker, or Shooter, so the 4 base classes, you're a 1.1 times Chain Multiplier. Now, was that always 1.1? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was always 1.1. But I think now the color affinity is 2 times instead of 1.75. So the big buff that he actually got was the damage. So then you can use different types of supports. So I think for that reason, we're probably going to have to slide him into A tier sub. What does his captain ability now do? His captain ability is a powerhouse 4.25 times booster. And then boost the HP of... Okay, so he's actually got a pretty solid captain ability. Like, a pretty solid captain. Powerhouses are really, really strong. And a flat 4.25 all the time. Like, that is very, very possible. And you could easily hybrid him up with something like a Kainu and whatnot. So I guess, like... Like, that's really good. The downside is obviously, like, you need to be running, like, powerhouse teams. But, like, that's very easy to do. Like, if you have a look here, you could easily go, like, Cracker, Kaido. You could easily do, like, Cracker versus Kaido and just, like, screw the quick class. You could easily run him with versus Kainu. You could easily run him with, like, Moria. You could even run him with Blackbeard, this V3 Blackbeard, if you are looking to do something like that as well. So, I don't know. I feel like you're going to use him more as a sub. So, we'll keep him as sub for now. So, I think that's going to wrap up the video. Sorry, it was a bit of a long one. These tier list videos always are. I'm just going to quickly do this for the people that like to flip to the end. This is kind of what the tier list looks like. Let me know what you guys think of the new style. I don't really know if I'm a big fan of it myself. As you guys sort of saw, I was sort of chopping and changing as we went. But like I said at the start of the video, I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions on the whole thing. And let me know in the comment section below. But, like I said, that's going to wrap up today's videos, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there and belt the like button for me if you're new to the channel. Hit the big red subscribe button too. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you guys for watching. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Eitsa!